What's up, everyone? If you're watching this, you're probably preparing for your trip to Hong Kong and you want to make sure all of your travel documents are in order because you've either read or heard that the Border Patrol is quite strict right now. And from my own personal experience, that would be totally true, as just a couple days ago I flew from Seattle into Vancouver for a quick layover and then from Vancouver into Hong Kong. I'm now here in my quarantine hotel here in Hong Kong, and I've made this video to help everyone else who's coming to Hong Kong really understand what travel documents are necessary to pass the checkpoints at the airports. I've also documented the journey to give you a visual of what you can expect to see too. All right, let's move on to the required documents. There are 7 of them, and the first one, no doubt, is your passport. Nothing's changed there. But also, next to your passport, you're gonna need either your Hong Kong ID if you're already a resident, or if you're moving for the first time, you should have a Hong Kong working visa that says that you're allowed in the country right now. The third piece of information that they're going to want to see is your COVID-19 vaccination card. And the next 3 documents come from the lab that you got your COVID-19 test from. I got mine from Discovery Health MD. Again, I was coming from Seattle. Maybe they have an office where you're coming from too. You need to make sure that it has your name on it, stated just the same way that your passport is. It needs to be a PCR test, PCR COVID test. And again, it needs to have the word negative on it. It needs to have your passport on it, passport number on it. And it needs to have the address of the place that you get the lab work done at. And the next lab piece of paper is the one that states that the lab that you get your test at is recognized by the government that you are coming from. For me, it's the United States. Again, your name and your passport number needs to be on it, as well as the date date and time that you took the COVID test. And then again, the word negative needs to be on your COVID result. Finally, someone from the lab needs to actually have a wet signature, and they need to sign the piece of paper. And then somewhere also should have a stamp, where I think I sort of spilled some tea, a stamp of the lab on there too. And then the third piece of information that the lab will give you is whichever state that you're coming from. If you're coming from the United States, it needs to say the state on it. I saw someone directly ahead of me in line, their certificate had a different state on it than the actual place that they got the lab test done, because the lab's headquarters was in a different state than their test, than where they got their test. And the airport staff really sort of made it difficult for the person, and he had to check his phone and present stuff, and I just really wouldn't want to be in that situation. I don't want you to be in that situation. So make sure that the state, like this one says Washington, is, because I was coming from Seattle, is on here. Also, what's really, really important is that the address of the lab that you get it at also matches the address of your negative COVID test result, like this piece of paper right here. And then the 7th article that's going to be required during these checkpoints at the airport is your hotel confirmation. All right, so if you have those 7 documents, you're pretty much like golden. Quick piece of advice, if I were to do it again, I would put all my documents in like a little Ziploc bag. I saw someone do that and I was like super jealous, because they could just like put it out, put it in, and yeah, it would have just made things a lot easier, I think. Next, I'm going to show you the video, and there's still some more information, but essentially, like, I'm not going to try and make you watch the whole video, but I think it's really valuable. But those are the documents. If that's why you came to see this video, those are the 7 documents that you'll need, and you'll be golden. All right, next I'm going to show you the video of going from Seattle to this hotel room right here, pay particular attention to like the QR code and stuff, because there's just like a few things that I really wish I would have known also before starting the journey. All right, let's go to the video. Here I am at the Seattle airport where I needed to present my passport, COVID-19 vaccination card, and Hong Kong work visa, or HKID if you already have one. I got checked in and walked to security, where the process of putting your things in a bin, sliding the bin onto the conveyor belt, and walking through the scanner was standard as usual. I arrived to my departure gate where I would take my next flight from Seattle to Vancouver. I flew with Air Canada, who provided a small package that included a mask, disinfectant wipes, and hand sanitizers. I arrived to Vancouver and felt the mood become slightly more strict. It was also the first time in the journey where I was asked to present all 7 of the required travel documents. The airline staff really pay close attention to the type of COVID test you got and double check that the address on the test result matches the lab address on the State Department of Health certificate. I got through that document checkpoint and went straight into boarding the flight. As you can see, the flight was very empty, and from what I saw, solo passengers were given an entire row of seats, which is nice. In case you're interested, Air Canada gave 3 packages of food, which included a main dish, a side, and a dessert, along with drinks. Once you arrive into Hong Kong, the document checking process really gets fun. First, you'll move into an area where you'll scan a QR code using your phone to fill out the Hong Kong Health Declaration form, link in the description below. Make sure you take a screenshot of the QR code that you'll be presented with after you've submitted the form. I'd recommend completing this step before your trip even begins. Next, you'll take a shuttle train that drops you off in a very large open area that feels like a maze of metal bars, but all you really have to do is follow the line and present the documents to each person who asks. The next set of Hong Kong airline representatives will check your travel documents and give you a card with a string attached that has your personal barcode on it that you can wear around your neck, along with a plastic container that comes inside a bag that you will be using to place your nasal test results in, which is the next checkpoint. After the medical nurse gets a nasal sample from you, you move into another line and give the next checkpoint person your phone number. I have a US phone number that still works, but they need a phone number, which they'll call on the spot to confirm that they are able to contact you if needed. Then they'll give you a card that shows that your phone number is certified, and off you go into another line where the next person gives you your quarantine documents and a thermometer to check your temperature twice a day while you're in your quarantine hotel. After all of this, you're given a ham and cheese sandwich, a bottle of water, and some crackers, and you need to match your card number with the number posted on the back of an array of chairs. Here you'll sit and wait for your COVID-19 test result to come back. After I ate the sandwich, I put my head down and almost instantly fell asleep, and then later I woke up to an airline agent tapping me on the shoulder, telling me that my result was in and I could move on to the next station. My test took around an hour and a half to get back, but others have told me that they waited more than 3 hours. So maybe the process is getting faster, or maybe I fell asleep for longer than I thought. Regardless, from here, you'll continue to follow the designated maze of barriers where you'll hop onto another shuttle train to reach a Hong Kong immigration officer where you'll present your passport and either your Hong Kong ID if you have one or your Hong Kong work visa. Pro tip, if you have a work visa and not a Hong Kong ID because perhaps you're starting a new job, make sure that the agent stamps your visa as journey completed, where the agent will then staple an official travel document into your passport and above your visa. Finally, you'll be off to find your luggage. If you checked a bag, just make sure no one mistakenly grabs your bag, which almost happened to me. With all of your bags, you'll walk to another checkpoint and off you'll go for a quick breath of fresh air while you walk to a bus that will take you to your quarantine hotel, which in my case was about an hour-long bus ride as the driver delivers people from multiple hotels using the same bus. Once at the hotel, they will provide you with further things such as your room key and some food. If you can remember, I started my journey by arriving to the Seattle airport at 7:45 a.m. on Saturday, July 17th, and didn't get into my hotel room until well after 11:30 p.m. on Sunday, July 18th. This is all to say, make sure you bring some munchies to snack on throughout your trip. I really hope this video helps you gather all of the necessary travel documents so that you get into Hong Kong more smoothly. Also, I'm leaving a list of resources, tips, and tricks in the description below, so make sure you check that out. And now it's my turn to say, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. But for real, please do show the YouTube gods that it deserved a thumbs up. And hey, you just stumbled upon the first video on this channel. Who knows what's gonna come next? But it's Hong Kong, and if you're interested, hit that little red subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.